Okay, let's get cracking with video number 2 of the Logic Pro X mixing series. Working on my track Vile, which is part of a cyberpunk sort of style, rock trap kind of weird new genre project that I'm working on. Anyway, for this video, I want to look at automation, specifically with the bass guitar. I find that whenever I do a composition or a sort of preliminary mix, even though I use a bit of compression and things like that, the bass guitar tends to still needs a little bit of tender, loving care. So yeah, I'm gonna get stuck into that and control the dynamics of the bass throughout the track. To get into the automation area, press A. That brings this sort of dark version of the audio, which shows you a sort of transparent line. You just click anywhere in there and that will bring the volume control automation line. So on this you can tap anywhere on the line and that'll bring up little nodes. Control Z, get rid of them. So what I'm going to do is run through the song and use automation to control the volume, because we basically want to create a bit more musical balance throughout the mix and control the relationship between the different elements in the mix. And that should hopefully allow for a bit more transparency throughout all of the instruments. Yeah, and give us a few extra dB headroom when it comes to the overall mix, which is obviously what we want when it comes to the mastering stage. We don't want to be hitting the ceiling with, peaks in the bass guitar if we can help it. So doing this can help us control and keep our stereo output level at a nice flat kind of ceiling that we create, which I'm aiming for the region of -6 and -3 to be my sort of variation. I think this song does go up a little bit more than that, but the odd peak to the -1 or 2 is not bad, as long as it's not occurring once every couple of seconds. Once or twice in the track is totally controllable. Anyway, I'm going to start by playing and listening through, and I kind of already know roughly where I want to start putting my nodes and controlling the volume of the bass, but for the sake of the video I'm going to run through the track and control and sort of describe why I want to control it a bit more. Okay, so this phrase here, I would like to just bump up a smidgen. So I'm going to start by creating 2 nodes on either side, which basically the outer nodes keep the original line going, and you use this as a sort of flat bed to raise the volume between those nodes. So I'm just going to put it up at my 0.3, not a lot. And that's pretty good for me. I don't really want to go any more than that. You can play around and see what you think with your own stuff. Obviously this is all down to personal preference. I'd like that note to be slightly quieter on the initial impact. So for this, I'm not going to do the same like a flatbed. I'm going to create a kind of anchor with 1. Oh god, where is it? There. I'm going to create, this is my dipping one, and this node is the anchor, so I'm going to use this to drop the volume by, let's say, -1, and I'm going to try and get it between, there we go. If you zoom back out, this will now make a gradual climb as the intensity of the note played decreases. The volume will climb back up to 0. So the impact is a lot less than I wanted to take it down, so I'm going to bring it to about -0.5. This feeling that I hold inside, in and out like the tide. I won't deny my light tonight. Cool. I see it all before me. Despite your life, despite the lies, I like to try to fight it. Don't consume. Okay, so I kind of like the energy of this one. So I'm going to try and match it with this one, because I think this one's a bit more muddy because of its loudness. So I'm just going to bring that down a bit. Despite the lies, I like to try to fight it. Don't consume my story. Cool. So you can see I've increased how hard I'm playing from this point. So I'm going to actually just bring the volume down totally by about -0.3. I'm just going to keep doing that on that first note. Go half a dB. Okay, so I got a bit of a mess up here, and I know that I plan to sort of take this one out totally. So I'm going to quickly do that. Scissor tool set to my command key. So I'm just going to snap this one out totally. Erase the automation data. Okay, so I mean, I don't actually want that node, so I'm just going to put it there for now. I'm just going to do a fade, which is TA, which allows you to have the fade tool, so I just want to clean up those edges. Cool. So I'm actually going to TA, get the fade tool, and just slide into that a little bit and just see what that sounds like. Cool. So I could have done that with automation, but I kind of felt like I just wanted to do it with the fade tool. So the bass guitar has changed on this point. This is a different sound effect that's been triggered, so I'm just going to bring this back to the 0, because this is essentially a different style. Just going to skip ahead. Okay, so for me, there wasn't very much automation going on. It's just a few dips and climbs and things like that to make it a bit more gradual. I didn't mean gradual, to make it a bit more controlled. So for that, I'm going to hit save, Command S. One thing you can do, so say we've got this straight line, which is a bit too computer-like. If you want to sort of give that a bit more character, you can press T and come down to the automation curve tool, and you can just give that kind of a bit more character, depending on, you know, a bit more gradual. Oh, we don't want to do that. That's it. So that just kind of curves up. So that's that for the volume. If we come to the beat and I solo this, for example. Say you want to have a gradual change in the frequency. You can essentially use automation to control EQ and map it out like a filter, but you have, you know, the same kind of control as you do with that, except it would be EQ frequency as opposed to just parameters within a filter plugin or something. So a lot of dance music sort of does that, where they'll have a low pass or a high pass filter sort of sweep across a certain section in time. So to do that, we can apply an EQ. Channel EQ or linear EQ, it's up to you. I tend to go with linear. I'll explain that in a different video if people require it. So just out of practice, I turn off all the unused bands. So I'm going to go for a low and just see what it sounds like. I'm going to quickly just solo that. So I don't want that. I want high. I want all the highs out. I'm just going to see what... Cool. So I've just put that on a bit of a harsh cut. And what I want to do is for that to fade away slowly. So you come to here, the automation window, and you find this little parameter drop down. And you hover over linear or whatever the plugin is you've applied, and you want to find high cut frequency. So essentially this is the parameter. When you click on it, that is the parameter that I've set in here, 2450. So I want it to kind of fade away over this period of time. So this is the little snare fill. So I want this to come back to normal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a slow build up to maybe about halfway between. Go to TW to get your curve. I'm going to have that have a bit more of a character to it. And we'll see what that sounds like. to bring this up a bit more because I don't particularly like it being that muddy. Okay, one more listen. Still a bit too muddy for me, so I'm going to bring it up quite a lot more. Okay, that's cool. You know, this isn't my final variant. That's just an example. And of course, you know, you can go for a completely random plugin, like an external third-party plugin. This is Replica Native Instruments. And I'm going to put it on the main arpeggio. Let's just find a crazy sort of sound. So let's use this analog dual preset and say I want to control the mix. You know, we just go down to Replica, look for the mix parameter, click on here, get your little space. I'm just going to put this up here so you can see the mix. Come down to this. Okay, so I'm just going to create a couple of nodes. And I'm just going to create messed that up, sorry. Forgive me. Right. Just gonna go with that for now. Okay, so now you'll see that parameter should track this into some crazy sounds. Okay, so too much. I'm gonna bring it way down to here, maybe a bit higher on the drop. So you can see how that would be quite cool if you had a bit more flow to it. I'm just going to go for some random things, some curves, get a bit sound design like. Mess around with these parameters. There you go. And now that I've heard it, I kind of feel this basic one doesn't sound as good. But, you know, I'll go through that and maybe have a mess around before the next video and the song might completely sound different. Anyway, that's enough for automation. Until next time.